Gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new era for the Khunzakhal Khaganate for the Pannonian Avars series here on the Lord Master channel. Yes, the country is called Khunzakhal, named after our dynasty, because this is the Khunzakhal Khaganate, as we are a feudal empire now. We are a feudal Khaganate. Yes. We made it happen yesterday on August 7th of 967, 100 years after the playthrough that was began. So, it's a wonder how we started from Avars to Southwix, so we went from this to this. And don't forget a bit of that too. It was a very impressive effort that we made. I mean, nobody would have thought that this chief, Tuznik, back in his day would become a Khan. And yet Tima would be the one to expand it a bit. And then there's me, Old Drong. I may be ailing and may not live long to, just sit there and prosper of how you are a mighty Khagan. A mighty Khagan. Yes, and all that. But still, take what you can get, because it was an impressive effort that we made for this series. And of course, you may have noticed within the realm there's a bunch of revolts going on, but these are all, tyranny wars. In which I wish I could say by saying, hey, stop fighting each other, all of you. We're trying to live in peace here. Will you stop destroying each other? But at least Visegrad isn't anywhere in danger. Again, this whole series, how we fended those guys off that attempted to invade here, and then we expanded upon, just as we promised. And of course, we used to hold a Tengrist holy site there, but we're no longer Tengrist anymore. We are discontinuing it in favor of Orthodox Christianity. I was thinking Catholicism, but there's reasons for it. My original plan for the Christianization of the Carpathian Khaganate was to go Catholic because of the 5% cultural fascination progress, which, as a reminder, each culture is always fascinated by a specific innovation, which greatly increases the speed of discovery at the rate depending on the learning of the current culture head. The cultural head can change the cultural fascination freely. So, Bavaria owns the holy site of Cologne, which adds up a little cultural fascination progress. But we chose Orthodoxy for one specific reason. Constantinople is now back in Orthodox hands. We fought a war against the Byzantine Empire just to put the Greek princess into the throne, who is an Orthodox Christian, and that's the way we wanted. We even converted to Orthodoxy prior to this war. And then that's the reason why. Compared to Catholics 5%, here is a cultural fascination of 20% plus. So this would help speed the development of the innovations around here a little more faster. Which again, we're still far behind from the early medieval era, as we're currently exposing and our current fascination. So in 13 years time we'll have city planning, which means we can build cities in our country. And that's what's really needed. More cities means more taxes. And of course we got to get Gavelkind eventually. And also public works, just to help the development go up a little. And of course all the tribal era military and fortification buildings before we'll finally get into early medieval. So we can get the much better things. So we fear that we probably won't be there until the year 1000. And yet it's not till 1050 for high medieval. So we're still going to be left behind technologically, but we're going to try our best to develop the land and all that. Because as you can see, it's, while development is considered good in our capital, same for Heves, our ancestral home from Tuznik. And we're still trying to develop the farmlands here, and then start developing here, so that way the surrounding areas can be more developed. And now that we are feudal, that means we can help develop this country more by building more cities and invest all that money that we've saved up on some guild halls. Every city must have a guild hall because it increases development. And perhaps one day we will be on par with, some of the great cities of Europe: Rome, Constantinople, Paris, Cordoba, all that. And as well as other of the world's great cities such as Baghdad, Esfahan, parts of the Gangetic Plain, even Patliputra. Of course, who could forget Tanjavur? Madurai too. One day, we will prosper. Big time. But it's, so you get to, yeah, places like Versailles and Paris, our development's 16, whereas we're still trying to play catch up here. So in the meantime, and also as a reminder, we do have our own royal court, and I know some of you are wondering, why does this place look like it is of a Islamic influence? Well, I found out the reason why. Since we are Avars, and we are of a Turkic culture group, and you know those royal courts that the Turks have, particularly the ones that started in the 1066 start date, like the Seljuk Dynasty, they tend to have the buildings designed look like that. So get used to it, people. This is what our royal court looks like. Even though our court grandeur is almost nothing. There will be the court language, as this is the language we speak. And you can switch to either a warlike court or an intrigue court for the type, which of course requires some prestige, which we can afford it. So if you want to get it up, you will get some of the good benefits. And since we are a bellicose ethos, for the warlike court, level 1 is Knight Effectiveness %. Get it up to 4, and Powerful Vassal Counselor Levy-based Contribution, which is good. Get it up to 7, Men-at-Arms Counter Efficiency. And if you get it all the way up to the max at 10, then that's another size of a Men-at-Arms regiment. A show of force is the only way to command all in respect. Our knights and soldiers are famous for their prowess. And courtiers will gain the warlike courtier trait, which helps that out a little bit. Because that's who we are, that's what our ancestors were like. We are a warlike people, and that is our heritage, and we're going to remain that way. And the intrigue court, if you were to go the other way, you would have, just a bit of intrigue. Don't know what the improvements versions would look like. But if you're into secrecy and all that, there's this for level 1, level 4. And if you get it up 10, that means more hostile schemes. I think an intrigue court would be suitable if you are the kind of if you're the kind of person who decides to rule by fear and be an absolute monarch and authoritarian, that kind. But we're only keeping warlike for now because, again, that's who we are. I'm not going to increase the expenses too soon because our income is rather low because of the maintenance of that's ongoing. That we're trying to fill it all up again. And plus, we just feudalized the realm, so as soon as we've mentioned before, 13 years later, with city planning, we're going to start building more cities. Like, there is room for another city we could build. in which stated before, all of them must have guilds. All of them must have guild halls. Because that's not only a little bit of tax, but also a bit of development as well. Say it's you're the one who pays taxes to me. Good idea. Where is it? Can't modify feudal contract? I think you are feudal, right? Okay. Oh, excuse me, you serve under her. Never mind then. Okay. You got so many hooks. So many hooks because your family is huge. Everybody's related to one another. And yes, I'm a witch too. Keep that well in mind. And before we hold court for the first time, let us remind you, what is the Orthodox faith? I mean, in the history of me playing Crusader Kings, I only have done one playthrough when I was an Orthodox Christian, and I was way, way back when I was Serbia. Made it Yugoslavia, basically. That was back at CK2. It was the very first series, which was one of the most screwed up series I've ever played. Because I was back in the old Monks and Mystics update, when that whole secret cults, religious cults, and that led to everybody converted instantly, and Slavic paganism's taken over the world, and while we Orthodox Christians gotta practice in secret until we can revive it, until it just happens back and forth, and until I decided, let's have the third way. Let's go for iconoclasm. An iconoclast Serbia we became. We even took it to Constantinople and installed an iconoclast patriarch. We shook the world, and all that. But anyways. Now, the Orthodoxy faith, compared to Catholicism, I mean, they do have some in common. The only difference is we do not have armed pilgrimages. We do have communion and monasticism. Pentarchy is the only difference. So let's go through this here. Because I've never been Orthodoxy before in this game. Now, communion. Characters may seek indulgence from their head of faith to pay gold in exchange for piety. Characters who have committed criminal acts may seek indulgences to gain forgiveness for them instead. Spiritual heads of faith may excommunicate other characters of their faith. Honest is a virtue, and deceitful is a sin. Monasticism, where courtiers can take the vows and become a monk. This makes temperate a virtue, and makes gluttonous a sin. The Pentarchy, this is an Orthodox thing. That's +1 yearly fervor per holy site held. Constantinople. Characters of this faith gain an additional bonus upon the successful completion of a pilgrimage. Our holy sites are more than just sacred places. They are the very seats of power from which our religious rulers will. Yeah, I kind of overshot that. Let me read the other descriptions. The pleasures of fine food and drink only to service distract us from service to the divine. Isolating ourselves in a remote monastery is the best way to avoid these temptations. That's what monasticism description for communion. Our rituals are not merely symbolic, they invoke the very presence of the divine itself. Those who cannot or do not join us in their practice cannot be true believers. Now, here are the sins: lustful, gluttonous, deceitful, sadistic, and vengeful. And the virtues of Orthodox Christianity are chaste, temperate, honest, compassionate, and forgiving. Unlike the Tengrist faith, which at least I could click on both so you could see the differences. Yet there are more virtues and sins in Christianity. And you know about our son and heir who's coming up, that he has that arbitrary trait? Well, it's not a sin under Christianity because that's more of a personality thing rather than a total sin of vice, so to speak. If you consider arbitrary as a vice. So unlike Tengrism, which is a pluralistic faith, Orthodoxy is righteous. Righteous is adherents of other faiths will have opinion penalties of 100% and can revoke landed titles from evil infidels without incurring in tyranny. As mortals, we cannot fully comprehend God's will, but our priests still have a pretty good idea of what is holy and what is profane. We do have ecumenism, which other Christian faiths that have ecumenism doctrine are considered astray instead of hostile. Yes. And unlike Tengrism, the marriage type is monogamous, which you can only have one spouse, and you can have a significant bonus when they marry for the first time. And divorce must be approved by the spiritual head of faith, unless it doesn't exist. Yes. While it's cousin marriage, marriage between cousins is allowed in the old faith, and sexual relations between cousins will not give incest secret. Well, under that, that's kind of different. Marriage between cousins, aunts, nephews, uncles, and nieces is allowed. Sexual relations between cousins, aunts, nephews, uncles, and nieces will not give the incest secret. So the incestuous, that's the word I was looking for, the incestuous crimes that people have committed could now be forgiven. It's just totally normal these days. We were a bit restrictive back then. In the old ways, everything is criminal. But in Orthodox Christianity, same-sex relations is shunned, and so is male adultery, but female adultery is criminal. Deviancy is still criminal. Witchcraft is also criminal. And obviously close kinslaying is criminal because murder is murder. So these two, well, this won't land you in prison. Same in Catholicism. And like Catholicism, unlike the old faith, whereas the Tengri clergy can allow to be commanders and have either gender, but only men are allowed to hold temple holdings and service court chaplains. And there will be no marriages in the clergy. And also control growth will be up more, since it's all about control in the clerical function. Whereas you can be fired and replaced, but however for this one, is spiritual and for life. So only the head of faith or the clergy appoints all realm priests or court chaplains, and will have their seat for life. And if you don't like what that guy has, well then, you might as well get rid of him. Just say you murder him. Or come up with something that would... What's this? Accused violating some terrible law. If you win some prestige. But if he wins, takes prestige from you. And you can only do it... Let me see that. 4 versus 15. You win some prestige. Taking them for their crimes against fashion. Well, that depends on the personality. It's temperate, fickle, and shy. Don't worry about him. Conversion's gonna take some time. Bestow royal favor is a new one for me. So that's just adds some prestige. Not as much as foreign affairs. This adds some prestige. And vassal prestige increases. And it's also get to court grandeur up, and it helps end internal wars and increase vassal opinion as compared to, say, domestic affairs. But it also increases opinion. It says it gets your court grandeur up, so... Oh, speaking of that, since it's been nearly 20 minutes, court grandeur and everything, let's hold court for the first time ever. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't see the previous episode, I already got some artifacts in. I already got this up, and the house banner as well. Got the Avar book about books, And there's a few things in the pedestal that are hidden, such as the sandals of Jesus, the chest set, Giovanna's goblet, and I'll be sure to commission an artifact to give me some more furniture. But now it's time to hold court. In order to be a successful ruler, I must actually rule the various dilemmas and situations which arise within my sphere of influence. By officially inviting all my subjects to travel to my castle and petition me for aid, I'll be able to stay informed, sway the balance of power, and have visibility to show the world that I am in charge. Each time you hold court, you increase your court grandeur. You invite your guests and subjects to petition you for assistance. You might learn exclusive opportunities, might be able to influence situations in foreign realms, you might gain additional court grandeur, and you might gain or lose opinion, prestige, gold, and more. And it will be available every 5 years, so you'll be able to hold court every 5 years. This is probably going to be the first and only time for the life of Khagan Drong, since he's an old man that's of poor health. Took a drink. Let's commence. Sitting on my throne, and I gesture for my guards to open the doors of the hall. A stream of people file in. Some are lining up in front of my throne, while others move out of the way so that they can simply observe the proceedings. After several moments, all movement in the chamber has ceased. All the faces turn towards mine expectantly. In front of me, I count 3 petitioners lined up in an orderly row, waiting for me to call on them. You can bring them in, or just say, you know what, I changed my mind. Why on earth would you want to do that? Yeah, that's my executioner here. This is my marshal who's speaking to me. Okay, there's me. My own throne. Now, gesture for the first line to approach. I'll listen to the first petitioner. A shadow in the night. A man who approaches my throne is clearly a commoner. My lord, he begins the speech, I represent the local community of Visegrad experiments. Please, put a stop to this blasphemy. He's a wanderer. Orthodox convert. Deceitful, vengeful, patient. Dishonorable antagonist he is. Oh. Grave robbing. Oh, that ain't good for popular opinion. It'll cost you some prestige for this, even though... Well, then again, you're no longer travel, so prestige is no longer a concern. Unless you want to declare wars. Or just say, just cut it off. Loses 10 opinion of me. Visegrad will have safe cemeteries. The liege of this county has put a stop to a shady grave robbing. The whole court. Craiova dancing. A peasant man from the castle of Craiova is brought before me, and no matter what the guards do, he will not stop dancing, trailing blood from mangled feet. I cannot cease, my lord. None of us can. Not until we collapse. Please help us. My courtier Khatun, antiquarian and court physician, is certain that the citizens are affected by an excess of blood causing an imbalance in the humors. My patriarch Vitam, on the other hand, insists that it is a curse sent by John the Baptist to punish the peasants. A dancing plague, you say, that's going on over there. Honorable atheist he is. And again, I don't own that county. The holder belongs to that evil idiot. Godless villain, they call him. I'll probably do that option, but let me see. Or pray for deliverance at a shrine dedicated to the saint. Which would contain the dancing mania, but that would lower the development growth, because everybody's dancing over there. And I gain some piety for that. And Vitang will respect me a little more. Or we could do this, which would gain some learning lifestyle experience. Or, good lord, we can only fight dancing with more dancing. So, I would lose all the stress because I'm a famous reveler. I'm gonna screw over my cousin one more time. We can only fight dancing with more dancing. Set my court musician to play for the effect. He who makes a beast out of himself. A gaggle of grotty peasants appear before my throne. They are armed with the most vicious flame and farming equipment I've seen in my whole career of quashing rebellions. One pokes a pitchfork through my favorite throne cushion. This being which has ruled is a true demon incarnate. No real man could be capable of such violent extremities as we have faced. Take up arms. Help us slay before it transforms. What's the matter with you, huh? Let me see. There's some prestige gain, and I might be able to manipulate. Every county held. Oh, good lord. Oh, let me see. Ah! This be the spawn of Satan. It's almost like, hey, I'm a secret witch from the old Tigrist faith. Or I could just say, no. Or I could just say, just admit it. You're a bad guy. But look at me. I'm a nice guy. What are you talking about? Hey, 1 second. Oh, that's not going to make much of a difference. I'll just say, I am no demon. I'm a Khagan, which is much, much worse. So it's an intrigue challenge against this man here. If I do manipulate my reputation, I'll gain some court grandeur and some intrigue lifestyle experience as if I really need it. And every county held will be confident in Legis humanity. But if I scare the peasants, then they're going to be superstitious about me, and a popular opinion of all the counties in the Khaganate, well, that means peasant revolts are going to be rather frequent. But as we know of who we are Avars, and peasant rebellions tend to be rare. No, you're thinking of populist. I got it! Now, as the last petitioner departs, various courtiers follow him out of the room, having business to attend elsewhere. Others remain, talking amongst themselves about the recent proceedings. Soon the ceremonial formality of the proceedings is dropped away entirely, with the hum and bustle of normal courtly life taking its place. My business here is done. See y'all later. Now let's go commission an artifact. This is considered furniture? Well, I want more furniture. That's what I want, more furniture, because in my court there is a severe lacking of furniture. Because there's no room for that here, and no room for that over there. Anyways, let's finally continue on with the whole thing. And I've communed with God instead of whomever. There's no need for an Orthodox holy order yet. The Orthodox faith is not in danger, in any way, shape, or form. It's only 4 months till this fully developed before I'll move you over to Feather. Oh, jeez. I forgot. populists. We'll deal with them soon. I forgot something else entirely. It's those prisoners. Mass ransom. Get them all out of here. Because we're about to spend some money. That's what I just forgot about. And also we do have new court positions. Well, there's 3 of these positions. They court artificers, summoners prove themselves to be able to craft great things. While they mostly loll around the court, the hope for inspiration is strike once more. So there's an active inspiration. So, well, there's only one. Every little bit helps. And now I must go on a pilgrimage. These are all long pilgrimages. But I shall visit to the churches of Constantinople, the holy site that is the only one under Orthodox control. So I shall start a pilgrimage to Byzantium, as it's a long way from Visegrad to Byzantium. And when I return, as I prepare for my journey, I know that I will travel safely under the protection of God. While I will go with the Lord, my realm must wait, however long I may be gone. It is time to depart. A court event available. Well, you just wait till I come back to the pilgrims. I'm in the middle of something. Please wait your turn. Duke Kubvad and Duchess of Zivoslava are among the most powerful vassals of my realm. I never know how to keep them happy so they don't go around stirring trouble. Perhaps flattery's the way to go. Anyone would be pleased to have something made in their name, wouldn't they? And I just have the right thing in the making. I should let my beneficiary, Bocharia, you Greek? Yeah, Greek. Knows that I am dedicating her masterpiece to my trustworthy vassals and advisors. And again, it is my artifact, so maybe I should just, they all like me well enough. Yeah, not so humble, huh? Why not to myself? I'm the Khagan. I'm the one who modernized this nation together. Out here, late at night, sometimes I look to the stars and wonder, can God even see me this far from home? What am I all doing this for? What I truly want to see is foreign lands. That'll get it down nearly all the way. Huh? What was this thing regarding renown? Inspired by a legendary monarch. Oh, thanks. Here it is, the city of the world's desire. I finally stand on the hills outside of Constantinople, a glimmering jewel of civilization that echoes with the glory of the Roman Empire. It is truly a sight to behold. Near the center I can see the Hagia Sophia, the great center of worship, which is often considered as the epitome of Byzantine architecture. It is far from the only wonder here, though, as I gaze out over the city and marvel at the glories of God's creation. I have walked the holy path, and because of the Elisarchy tenet, gained a seat of bishops. I'm a pilgrim again. Yeah, we still have that Lords of the Sky here locally. Can't kick them out. They live here. My journey has been a long one. I finally come home again. While much remains the same, something has changed in how the priests and bishops treat me. I've undergone a journey of a holy man, and they could assist that it has changed something about me where I can see it myself or not. But it's good to be home. Now, what's going on here? Oh, there's two court events. Dedicated tutor and courtier school. Well, let's speak of them first. My knight, Komrus, how do you say your name? Kormishos, approached me with concerns regarding the state of our educational materials. We could do what imagine the heights our children could reach if we only had better materials. New wax tablets, parchments, even ink. Well, I got all the money in the world, so of course you shall have the funds. And courtier scorn. It's between my courtier and my court artifice. Why would you honor that doxy fair with the position of the court and not me? My courtier Krovad's livid. Apparently he had been certain that honor would befall him and no one else. Yeah, you do deserve business. How'd you be food taster? See how you like it. Now it's time to start developing here. Now that everything is settled, all the cities in the counties that you do own, all of them must be developed. We all gotta have guilds. Avars does not have a city, but until we have city planning, we're gonna build one. Populace. Should also build structures. Gotta have monasteries for control growth. So guilds and monasteries, prayer halls and guild halls. That's what this land needs. There is no temple here, but we do not have city planning yet. So that means we start building temples and cities all over the country. In those areas that are less developed than others, I'll be willing to finance them as well. All of you deserve guild halls. But don't overspend. Just only on the Avar parts. That contains cities. Oh yeah, this has already been feudalized for some time. It's just the northern areas is the issue. And that one belongs to the Slovens, so keep that one in mind. There's about to be a revolt in a month. It's a big one. I've arrived at Visegrad to pay homage to you, glorious Khagan. I show my loyalty. Hope my pledge of submission alone is evidence of my honor. Count Ivan of Celestra. Show Count Ivan in once. Come on in. I wait patiently on my throne for the arrival of Count Ivan, who is soon announced and is ushered before me. He kneels in deference, offering nothing but his oath to faithfully serve as a vassal of the Khaganate. Though the Count has clearly practiced the Orga vows, he mispronounced several sections, humorously changing their meaning and leaving my courtiers stifling titters. Good effort, Ivan. It is not an easy language. You would actually gain a little bit of that. Right. So, in order to keep that court grandeur level up, I mean, good God. The income that we're making is not good. So, I'll probably have to get it up a little. Let me see, because I prefer things in the middle. Shoot! Well, it is ranked 16th in the world, but if we want to stay up in level 4, we gotta go for this. Because we gotta go for decent fashion, decent food, middling lodgings, and some servants. So be locked for 12 months. So there you go. We can go up as far as level 6. So again, your court grandeur is level 1. Excuse my vagueness. Grandeur level 2 is unlock bestow royal favor counselor task. Level 3 is manage royal guards counselor task. Level 4 that we're currently on is a powerful vassal counselor levy based contribution. Hence the reason why we're 10,000 strong. And it's gonna take a while to get it up to level 5, which should you have it, then that's where you get the special traits. You know, those warlike courtiers. And if you could get it up to all the way to 6, which is where that trend is going, it will unlock convince the age or territory counselor task. So, again, all of these level 1s here, they do no effect, but since we've switched to decent fashion, this will give me monthly prestige a bit more, along with the grandeur bonus, as courtiers nimbly update their wardrobe with the seasons, abandoning old garments when a new style catches on. But having bland food, the feast activity reduces less stress. And now we made it to decent food, which feast activity reduces more stress, and court grandeur bonus up, and more stress loss for everybody who comes here, as we will be able to provide novel delicacies. Middling lodgings, as there were none at the beginning, but here guests are likely to stay longer. Guest acceptance to join schemes of my court as an agent, plus 10, grandeur up. And completed inspiration quality has a chance of improvement. And less stress gain here, as every courtier's room is well provided here. Now we gotta have some servants, which obviously was non-existent when we had a few of them. Now we have some, which reduces the cost of guest recruitment. Personal scheme, hostile scheme, up the power and resistance. And the courtiers and guests, same thing. So this court has specialized servers who take pride in our work. Court grandeur is 32 currently, but the baseline will be 53. Want to get it up more? Well, now we're making very, very little money. So I'll be saving up some money to, you know, to have some of the structures improved, such as in 3 years' time, these guild halls will be finished, the taxes will be going up for whoever's the holder, and in turn will pay the taxes to me. But it'll be much better when he takes over. He's a man of stewardship. He's the one that's going to bring us an era of prosperity. So we do not plan on expansions anymore for the time being. We must develop our realm and also make a lot of fortune in order to prosper. When I pass, and hopefully with the skills of my son and heir, we will have a new golden era. But of course, there's going to be some issues along the way, such as this major Tengrist uprising. That's all over the place. And then of course, you know, that's gonna have some issues. But nevertheless, we still gotta raise armies to put them all down. Well, let's be honest here, they're all levies, so I suggest you just raise the men-at-arms only, which will take about a day to assemble. And bring out the best commander that we have. But everyone else is busy, so therefore my martial commander and knight will handle it. He is an unyielding defender, so they'll take less casualties along the way. Plus, we're only doing this just to save up the levies. Use men-at-arms only. Oh, and one more thing. You don't need these. You're not besieging anybody's territory. Move them out. Go get him, Tiger. There's the leader. If you capture him in battle, good. That means we can end this early. And we did. 23 days. No control loss. Told you, just a minor issue. But a prestige gain is huge now. Might become a living legend before I die. Since they're all about grandeur these days. Oh, that's what that is. You bestow a royal favor, send it to vassal's prestige and opinion. Ah, complete in a couple of months. I see. Well, as soon as the whatever situation that gets under control then. Haven't asked you people in a while. If only you were to convert to our faith, then things would be alright. Send it. Just want to try something here. Lessons from the past. Though I will surely see many battlefields before I meet my maker, my library holds tales of war from 100 lifetimes. Recently acquired a tome on the Great Siege of Constantinople. Which one? As well as a time-worn scroll written in some ancient language. Who knows what forgotten secrets it holds. I'll attempt to translate it, but luckily I'm a very wise man. Even with the help of the dusty glossary, Skull's reluctant to share its secrets. But I press on. As the night progresses, the most incredible story unfolds before me. Arminus, the son of a Germanic chieftain, had been raised in Rome, but plotted to forge an alliance of the tribes to defeat the Romans. Arminius became an officer of the Roman general Varus, and advised him to take a detour through the Teutoburg forest. There, Arminius launched a series of ambushes. Due to his Roman education, and Arminius knew exactly how to combat enemy tactics and led his people to a decisive victory. I'll focus on the translation process. Getting higher learning. That reminds me. There you go. Limited crown authority is the best we can do. Don't want to give too much autonomy to the vassals. Also, that piece of furniture I'm getting is about to be finished. Yes, serve the crown's just natural dread and a bit more control growth. I mean, I still got some dread, plenty of dread. It's just I needed to, keep it that way till the very end. Anyways, my lord, my beneficiary Poteri has gestured me over to the object covered in fabric with a wide grin on her face. I have toiled many days and nights, and my work is finally done. She whips the covering off. Now my eyes grow wide as I see what's hidden beneath. A regal throne of fine craftsmanship. A frame is constructed from solid ash posts and a seat cushioned with linen pillows. This is lovely. This is a fine throne, but it'll do. Alright, let's see this new throne instead of this old one I'm sitting on. Much better. Because I don't like to squat all the time. Can you imagine me squatting like that? Crossing my legs like that every time? And now, this is the throne I sit on. And that's the way it's gonna be. And many of my descendants will be sitting on this throne. Although, to be quite honest, it doesn't look as comfortable as compared to this one, because this one has some coverings and the thing that sits on. You know, that thing looks like it's kind of made of stone and that sort of thing. Which, again, it's just a fine craftsmanship. It's solid ash posts. But the seat is said to be cushioned with linen pillows, and I don't see no linen pillows. But it says it does, so therefore, well, at least you got me a throne. Thank you. I prefer to sit rather than squat across my legs all day and every day, especially for this man of old age. How old are you, son? 25? When you turn 30 years old, or as soon as you become the next Khagan, you need to get married. But for now, we only make very, very little money, as we are focused on developing other parts of the country. We should go back to development growth. Remember that. Every little bit helps. There is one better steward, but you're not a powerful vassal, so need someone better. Good. Better. There is no development growth here unless you put that council here. That's the reason why we're building this sort of thing. Here we go again with this. Aha! Homesteads. Every little bit income helps. This has hillside fields. Now make it into fell pastures. So we need to start building buildings to, you know, make more. Oh, by the way, I know one of my sons is gonna inherit a bunch of counties that I would prefer to keep, and knowing he's got high stewardship so he can hold more land for himself. Now listen, I'm sorry about this, but I gotta disinherit you. It'll cost me a lot of prestige for this, but it's for the best of the Khaganate. Alright? It's gonna go to Organa. Organa will hold all the counties. He'll hold all the land. And he will make great use of it. Especially when we build cities and temples here. Because Heves has got more room for land than some of the others. Ha! Here's some prestige. To the very end. He's only the heir to the Khaganate of Carpathia, which he can hold. He can have it. Drank their stuff to death. Well, it's gonna be you. 10 days left. We shall see. Bestow royal favor, which gained a 9 opinion towards you. Was impressed and honored by royal favor bestowed upon. So that's what that does. It's kind of like you're trying to improve relations from your vassals, but directly. I get it now. I don't want to invite new knights because, again, all that money that remains is going to be invested towards the building of new structures. And especially when Organa takes over, that he will bring an era to quite possibly our first golden age. It's a claimant war. That's local, don't worry about it. I'm looking. Oh, that's not till early medieval. Nice. At least unlike my past, such as my father and my grandfather, both of them, you know, died from their wounds. But at least for once, whenever I pass away, at least it'll be natural. Living in peace. Of course it's my dumb cousin. Never gonna hear the end of that man. Yes, I'm well aware. It's gonna be a while, as we're starting to rank up a bit. And the best royal court in the world is the Pratihara Kingdom. Let me see yours. Just let the time go slowly so I can look around. His court, this Pratihar court, it's a Kanalji court. He's got stylish fashion, lavish food, spacious lodgings, and many servants. Because that man, he can afford it. He's not at war right now, but he can afford it all. And I guess he's been spending recently. And his court is of an administrative one. Sorry, Cine. Just give me a moment. And the court artifacts, what makes it so grand? He's got that tapestry over there. And those the house banner. And the Maharaja's own tapestry. Very interesting. Doesn't have much of a way of furniture, as we'll be looking up all the artifacts. He's got chest set, X regalia, his goblet, the chest, Organa, the hide of the man-eating rabbit of Dimapur. What? And also he sits on a throne that is kind of similar to mine. Wait, not by appearance, as you can see, because an Indian throne looks different from the one I sit on. And there are these on display. And I don't know why mine aren't, displayed. Good God. Hopefully one day that throne of mine, this royal court of mine, is going to be as grand as his one day. But again, it is the best court in the world. And the Kanalji culture of who they are spiritual, agrarian, ruling caste just like us, court eunuchs, city keepers, and fervent temple builders, which is what they are trying to establish over there. My grandson, handsome, intelligent grandson, Dalkamak, that's going to be his name. And soon one day my son will have children of his own, whenever he gets married, whenever I pass. Now my court grandeur level is 5, which as a reminder, those who live in the royal court for 5 years gain a special trait based on that court type. And it's likely going to keep going into 6, because we can afford it, as we are slowly losing bit by bit with all that maintenance, and court amenities and whatnot. There are some unruly people around here. Can call for a hunt. There's no need for that. What was I thinking? Vassals. Who likes me the least? Do that. Listen, you're not going to make it all the way. So just keep it going. Church and state. Yeah, why the heck not? I doubt I'll become a theologian, but at least he tries to make himself look like a religious man. But he is a man of many talents. Huh. Not to mention a man who knows many languages. Learn all 10, then you would be known as a polyglot. There's an achievement for that if you know at least 10 foreign languages. But does he really have time to learn one more language in some part of the world? Oh, Sicilian culture started appearing. No, they've always been around. It's just, you know. I'm thinking, what's the one language you do not know yet? Based on who we had contact with in the past. Oh, I know. How about Prussian? I was about to say, is that snow? What's going on out there? 'Cause I've never seen that before on a map. Well, anyways. Baltic shall be the last language I'll learn. Oh no, I see a revolt. Oh heck, they want it back. Wish I could come over and help you. Actually, you can. But that's for Holy War, but not for claimants. Unless we have an alliance. Sickly. Hot, hot, hot. I was drinking some herbal tea that was meant to be good for oneself. However, I drank a little too fast and burnt my tongue in front of everyone, which let me spill my tea on my clothes. That in turn led to some minor burns on my skin. It's one of those days, is it? Oh dear. Is this how I'm gonna die? With a tiny bit of a health penalty? Because I burnt myself a tea? That's gonna lead to me passing away naturally? Is this how I'm gonna go out? Long time ago. Now we make no income. Actually, just very little. Everybody's gained a warlike courtier. Guards? Female adultery isn't good around here. I'm wondering, is it done yet? 7 months. Now we can start making some real money around here. Yeah. There we go. One of the buildings finished. This would help a little bit of income. Especially when these guild halls are finished. That increases a little bit more tax, but that's for towards the mayor, which in turn they pay to me. January, that's when these buildings will be constructed. Then we start making some income again. Yeah, they finished building. Didn't get a notification. I can invest in more of these. But I think you should. It's not only for the sake of increased monthly growth of development, thanks to these structures that exist, especially that's under my personal control. It was 2, but now it's 4. Keep it up. And I see. Nine years. So by the late 70s, we're going to start building more cities and temples all over the country if you can afford it. The last language that I will learn. Look at me now, a man who knows many languages. The world's smartest Avar. I'd be taken with me to the grave with that kind of knowledge. Okay. All the cities that you currently, that is under your personal control of the county, turn the guild halls into carvers' guilds. This will definitely help the development growth around here. Although they cost a little bit more, but it'll have to do. This would help benefit in the long run. Especially getting set up for my son and heir to take over. Of the lands that he personally controls, that is. Keep that all in mind. And you cannot construct duchy buildings because that's early medieval era thing. So that's pretty much all you can do. And I'm sure in my son's rule, when he begins, he can hold more counties for himself if he's going to have to revoke one of the titles of some unruly vassals that wants to get rid of him. That can happen. No longer my bodyguard. That means I don't have to pay him as much, so that's fine. Because, you know, all these positions. Not to mention no longer my personal champion. Fell pastures in undergone completed. Which adds a little more income to it. Now I'm a living legend. Never thought I would live this long. Solid script. Latest work of my vassal Count Andrea. Oh yeah. The poet. Man, he's done a lot of things in life. Again, he deals with sorrow and loss and is publicly dedicated to me, to pangs of regret. When such beautiful continents is had from sight, those left behind must feel the blight When one's so great so far, all lives, all plans are left agile. So I've kept my thoughts to myself, but the buzz has grown too dramatic to ignore for much longer. I'll just say dribble. Because I don't want to be hearing that stuff. And I don't think it'll be wise to try to commission another artifact next year, because may never know that that next year could be my last. Of course, not having bodyguards could have an effect. No, shut your mouth, damn cousin. Not my direct vassal. It belongs to Bihar. Right, I remember. You only hold one duchy. If there was another duchy that I would like to hold, it would be either Bax or Bihar. But that's not going to be too much either. Come on in. Let's take a knee. I patiently wait on my throne for the arrival of Count Joseph, who was soon announced and ushered before me. He kneels in deference, offered nothing but his oath to faithfully serve as a vassal of the Khagan. I bid the Count arise, confirm my satisfaction, and the rights to the science of rules in my stead. Serve me well. Right. Now you can have convinced it your territory council task. I'm looking. I don't think there is that anywhere. Ah! He just died on me. I mean, I noticed he was wearing that kind of shirt, which indicates, like, yeah, I know he's kind of ill right now. I mean, I kind of knew that. Again, I'm just waiting for this character to pass so he could take over. And now that he's a warlike courtier, so therefore you get those little benefits for yourself. My spy master character. So now, who would want to murder this nice old man? I think I know who. That man. That's gotta be you. 'Cause you're that kind of person. You're still an unrepentant Tengrist. You no good son of a beeswax. Twins from Sati. These two are granddaughters. It's just not good at coming up with names that twins would sound like. Thank you very much. Now I gotta get these parts here. particularly areas of economic importance, such as here. No, 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 you idiot. This one. I'm telling myself an idiot. Oh. The trepanning of the soul. Chatin is the man's name. A figure in Visaged's garb has arrived with a case of tools, but my stomach churns as a hammer pick are revealed amongst them. My lord, I am a proficient trepanner. As an occultist, your own powers may be formidable, but there's still a barrier holding them back. Your magics could conquer the world if the spirits of the earth could enter your skull. It's Chatin. That's how you say his name. What's your learning skill again? 18. And how old are you, man? 36. You know, I had that hot tea the other day. But you could say, I can bear this no longer. Fetch the chisels! So either I'll survive the trepanning unscathed, either it does nothing, or it could damage my mental faculties, or it might damage my body. Just do it! Nothing happened. I assumed. No, everything is fine. Oh no, here we go. Here's the result. I've taken to the study of my physician Khatun, who Chatin suggests has the towns to assist on daily. As he ties down a chair, Khatun hovers by. Be careful with him. At first, the picks clipping my skull sends such pain through my body, the very spine feels sawn in two. When the pick is at last removed, I feel no different beyond a mild draft blowing on my exposed brain. Oh, my aching skull. Well, it's time to join with my ancestors. But first, one last time. On the mystical communion. Staring at the stars. From all my evenings watching the stars, I've seen with my own eyes what I've only heard of before. The stars move at different speeds and reverse their course at different times, but seemingly in large groups, which depend on which celestial spirit they belong to. Indeed, with the right calculations, one could even predict them. My patriarch does not approve, of course. Leave the skies be. Assessor realms for the clergy to know. Well, I've always been a bit of a cynic myself, so I'll just say I will find my answers in the heavens, so I will become cynical right before the day I die. He was never a zealous man, despite the Orthodox conversion, because for most of his life he was a Tengrist at heart. Even that secret of witchcraft that he got into from that old Tengrist faith. You could say he wasn't a real Christian. He never was. But that's the way it's going to be. But nevertheless. Well, now he's going to die of his wounds. I'm not going to hold a court because I'm going to die. That'll be up to my son. He'll take over very soon. All I could say is, well, can I live to turn 69? Come on. Just a few more days. 3, 2, 1. 69 years old. Yep. An old man. I'm an old man. Got nothing left in me anymore. Trust the self-interest of others above all else, says Drong. So, again, we will end this episode very soon, as soon as he passes away. What else can that guy build? Would be nice to have farms and fields, but still. hope you're ready to begin your rule, son, because this 793 will be the year that you will take the throne. And I'm sure you will do great in terms of enriching this country and all that. An inspired person can be sponsored. Really? One of the courtiers or guests has an inspiration and can be sponsored to create an artifact. Really? Let me see. You can fund your first inspiration. An inspiration desire the character to realize an artifact. Inspired characters come and go from the most prestigious courts of the world. When one stops at your court, you are notified and invited to sponsor the character's project. By paying a varying amount of gold, you could secure this character service and for some time a new artifact. Inside your royal court, you can see all inspirations currently present in your court on your left. You can check their status by clicking on the highlight icon. So, this man here, a Georgian, he is a guest here. They're 25 years old. He has a metalsmith inspiration. He wants to forge a goblet. His skill is merely decent, he says. So, here you can see that inspired character what they tend to make, how good his skill is. If you can afford to fund the inspiration, how much it will cost you. If the inspiration is already ongoing, you can see how long it's going to take completion. If it's not, you can start it. Yeah, I'll sponsor it. 50 gold for you. It'll take some time, but I doubt I'll be around to see it finished. Again, I am near death, and I'm gonna have to accept the fact that I will pass away. I was never really a true Orthodox Christian. We only did it out of convenience. And that was his last words. Khagan Drong of the Khunzakhal Khaganate rests in the arms of the Lord at 69 years of age. He died from his wounds, just like his father and grandfather. Known for spending most of his nights in his laboratory, he was believed by many to be nothing more than a warlock, conjuring unholy spells in the secrecy of his castle. Now, Khagan Organa ascends to the throne, being both thrifty and frugal. The realm will surely prosper under his rule, and prosper it shall. We shall remember him. He was a dreaded man. He was a living legend and a paragon of virtue, and a scholar. Fought in 10 different wars. But now here is a man who is distinguished, not illustrious yet. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Is Organa. Only Wallachia was given away to his brother, but at least that'll keep that evil cousin away. So, days of the Tengrism are over. Now a new era will truly begin. That will happen in the next episode or so. Because at least we have a man who is honest, so therefore virtuous. Arbitrary was considered a virtue in the old faith, but not anymore. But now he's got many challenges ahead of him. Oh, don't worry about that. It'll register in something. Maybe feeling fine, but this is going to be our first ruler who is a genius. And the Patriarch does endorse him. And, of course, there's going to be some monetary issues, but we shall see. There is no stress in that, man. And we're actually going to end this episode right here. So, again, the only piece of territory we lost wasn't territory at all. We just gave the Khaganate away. So he'll be the Khan. He'll serve under me. And have to pay well as well. Not to mention that my brother will get his own royal court. How come he gets a European-style looking court, whereas my court still looks like this. But don't worry. That funding of the inspiration by my father was the last thing he did. Really, a new one? Oh, that old thing. Never mind. Well, anyways, in the next episode, the rule of Khagan Organa of the Khunzakhal Khaganate will begin. And this is a man who is a great fighter. He's got some degree of learning. Unfortunately, his honesty is going to be possibly his own undoing. But he is excellent in diplomacy and in stewardship, which means a lot of money is to be made. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. Things will be, hopefully, we'll have a golden era here in the Khunzakhal Khaganate. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. This is the first time that we had an episode that did not involve any expansions, but instead it's going to turn into an era where we're going to start building buildings with all the money and such. But of course, without that, now it's going to take some couple of years for city planning, because we don't have that thing anymore. We're not into mysticism anymore. Those days are past. But regardless, see you in the next episode. This next week, we're here in the Lord Master channel. This will be a truly a new era for Carpathia and all. But until then, so long for now.